Hello and welcome back to Little Python with your Python series for beginners. We are going to be talking about string manipulation, specifically in indexing and slicing strings. Before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about our formatted string literals that we've spoken of before. What we're going to do is start with a variable var and we'll assign it to the string world. And then we'll do our typical print function and have the f begin our string with the word hello. Because of that f, which stands for formatting, we can now add variables in our string. We can add that var in our string and print that all out to give us hello world. Again, I spoke to this on the previous video, but the readability of this is invaluable, and it's really what makes Python so powerful. And for a beginner to be able to look at this and read it and understand it, it's awesome and very powerful to keep things simple and beautiful and clear. Now, to take this a little step further real quick, we're going to take two more variables and we're going to assign them to some integers, and then we're going to print it all out in a new string saying 10 plus 9 is, and then we do a curly bracket and we actually put our variables a plus x, close the curly brackets, comma. Cool, huh? So Python will actually add those together for you, so you have like a small little function inside there that is adding those two variables together and giving you the result all in one nice string that is printed out for you. 10 plus 9 is 19. Cool, huh? Really cool and powerful. And the last thing to wrap up this recap, we're going to assign the variable h to super and the variable w to heroes. And then we'll take a new variable s and assign that to h plus w, which will give us, if we were to call s, superheroes. So that's concatenation of strings. All of it we've spoken about before in previous videos. I just like to recap things. Let's move on now to string indexing and slicing. To explain indexing in Python, what it does is every time you write a string, any string, it will index all of the characters in that string and keep track of them. I'm going to break this all up into a visual demonstration here. So you take your string, and if you can visually see it here, it makes a lot of sense where you have your A is indexed to 0, the first P is indexed to 1, the second P is indexed to 2, L is indexed to 3, E is indexed to 4, and so on and so on. You can see even the comma is indexed to 6, 7 is indexed to the space in between words. So it really indexes everything. So then you can go back and call any one of those indexes and get whatever character it is that's in there. So let's take a look at this. If you write this little piece of code that I've put in here, you don't have to worry about how it works exactly. That's going to be talked about in a different video, but you will get this result, and we can use this in our video as a cheat sheet to kind of see how we can grab all these numbers. You can see that A is indexed to 0 in this example. You can see B is indexed to 8, R is indexed to 9, 10 is indexed to E. So let's keep that at the top here as a little cheat sheet, and let's write some code real quick and then we can talk about it. We're printing GS, which is our string, but then we're putting square brackets and calling out different index numbers in the string that we want to print. So we're not printing the whole thing, we're only slicing it. We're printing just parts of it. So we're in that first example, we have GS and then square bracket 0 colon 6. What that means is it's going to go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but it won't print 6. So that's important to note. You need to go all the way up to the number you want and then one above that. So because it won't print 6, so it's not going to print the comma. It's just going to print all the way up to 5.
Same thing with 8. So we want to print bread all by itself. So we put a comma there, and we're going to print another slice from GS, the variable GS. When we look at the top cheat sheet here, we see that 8 is the first index number that is assigned to B. So we would start with 8 and then colon all the way to 13, which will print 12 as the last index for D, for bread. Same thing with milk, 15 to 19. Here's a single example of how it does all that. GS 8, 13, it grabs the character 8 all the way up to 13 without printing 13. Let's say we want to just print out milk all by itself. It's at the very end. Because it's at the very end, you can just do a simpler version of, instead of doing GS 15 colon all the way up to 19, what you can do is just do -5 colon. And what that does is it grabs the last character in the string and counts backwards to -5. What it's doing here, if we print 8 colon, what it does is it goes and grabs the character 8 and prints all the rest of the string. So you would get bread and milk. And then if we print GS colon 5, what that does is it starts at the very beginning of the string and counts all the way up to 5 and prints only that. I think the most important thing you can do is just start printing these out and playing with them and manipulating them and try different versions. Say you want to just pull out 2 letters from one string and two letters from another part of the string, and maybe you can even add them together to make a whole different word. The idea is to keep trying these and keep experimenting with them and learning and growing. It's extremely powerful and very cool. But once you understand the slicing and indexing, I think you'll be surprised that there's a lot of things you can actually do with it. What we're going to move on to next is talking about lists and how we can begin to make a list and then iterate over that list. But stick around. If you like these tutorials, let me know. I'm trying to keep them simple and short. It's not going over everything about a subject, but it's enough to get your feet wet and to really get you going, so where you can begin searching online for more answers and getting more into it. So let me know if you like these versions. Subscribe below, give a thumbs up, give a thumbs down if you didn't like it, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.